Hey everybody, welcome back. Today I am super excited because we're doing my first ever duck nails. I have not done these before. I've really gone back and forth between whether or not I think they are cute or ugly, and I'm in a phase where right now I think they're cute slash ugly in kind of those Labubu like dolls kind of way. So I really wanted to try it out. I am using the NailzByDev duck tips. I'm going in with my Not Polished Triple X Bond, and I am just going right in and doing kind of a full cover nude acrylic set. I didn't want to go too crazy with like colored acrylic and things because these are also curved tips, which I'm not the most familiar with, and I didn't want to make the application process too difficult for myself. So I am using a little bit of my Young Nails Core French Pink. I do use that as a little bit of a protective layer for my natural nail since I do change mine out so often, and I do use that as a little bit of kind of like a gap filler since I am using tips today. I don't file down my tips to like the nth degree where they're almost kind of falling off the nail. I know some people really like to try to get that as flush to the natural nail as possible. I leave it a little bit thick, so I use that Core French Pink to kind of fill in that gap so that there's no ledge on my natural nail. Then I am going in with my Young Nails Cover Flamingo. It's just a bright bubblegum pink, which kind of reminds me of the early 2000s, so I was really excited to use it. And I'm really just going in and doing my acrylic application like I usually do. I am working a little bit wetter because I'm trying to apply this a little bit thinner, and I wanted to minimize the filing since I didn't know if I was going to struggle with filing curved tips since they are just a little counterintuitive in my opinion. So I just wanted to make this as simple and easy for myself as possible. So I apply doing my same application method, working from the tip, work back towards the cuticle, and then filling in any gaps that I find where there may be any low spots to make sure that I have a good apex and that I have good thickness throughout the nail. One thing I did love about these duckies was that I felt like the actual application was fairly simple. I think the struggle was just making sure that that area like right in front of my apex was filled in, because that was the only area that I feel like ended up kind of low as I was applying it. But overall I feel like it actually made it almost easier to build the nail apex, which was a little odd. I will say the filing, which I don't show in the video, was a little bit different because if you file like too straight along the curve, you can start messing up the shape. So you do kind of have to almost like file into the curve, and you just have to be a little bit more like aware of where you're filing, just because you can kind of almost file too much and then you'll end up with like these weird like beak shaped nails, and they'll be, I think, more prone to cracking because of that, because you'll kind of bring in the sides too much. So the curved nails I think take some getting used to, but they were still really fun for me to do. So definitely let me know if you'd like to see more ducky tutorials from me. I will say wearing them was a little different. I wouldn't say it was difficult, but I'm not used to having such a wide shape at the end of my nail. I typically like to go for the complete opposite. I like to go for like stilettos, really tight coffins, ballerinas, things that kind of taper, because I like the way that those look on my hands the best. So I'm used to not really feeling the tip of my nails. Like I can tell that they're long because I wear them very long, but I don't necessarily feel like the tips get in the way. Whereas with the duckies, I felt like they did kind of get away or in the way a little bit, but not too bad. These aren't the longest ones that you can find either, so I feel like they were a good length for me to start off. I actually found that I feel like I would have liked them better if I went slightly shorter, but I also have nail length blindness. So for me, anytime I do my nails, I feel like when I am picking my size and my length that I can just never get it right, because I always am so afraid of going way too short since I'm so used to long nails. But I feel like once these were applied, they were actually they were pretty perfect for what I like, but I think I would prefer the duck shape if it was just a little shorter. That way the flare is not as wide, because I think that was what kind of threw me off. I just wasn't used to having such a wide flare at the end of my nail. But I can definitely play around with this. If there's different designs that you would like to see, definitely let me know. I didn't do a video on it, but my other hand has a very like early 2000s design. It doesn't have it right now, but you'll see it later in the video, and I like loved that design. It was really nostalgic. Oop, here you go, you can see it now. And I really liked it, so if you want to see more videos like this, let me know. But yeah, so for this hand, I'm going in with two not polished colors. One is their Cat Eye in Desert Oasis, and the other is their Jelly in the Tortoise shade. So I'm starting off with the cat eye on my ring finger. When I do cat eyes, I know some people like to do their design on both layers of polishes that they do. I actually don't, because sometimes I feel like if you don't get your design in quite the same spot on each layer, you can sometimes see through, like you'll see through that second layer of gel into that first one, and you can kind of see that the cat eye doesn't match up, and I don't love that all the time. So I actually just go in with the cat eye like a normal polish first, cure that, and then when I go in with my second coat, that's when I go in with the design. And usually if you do your design correctly, you don't have to worry about the design not being like stark or intense enough. It just depends on the cat eye you're using, what type of magnet you're using. So for me, this is how I prefer, but if you feel like you get a better, more like bold design using the magnet on both layers, just go ahead and do that. Today I'm using a very small, it almost looks like a pencil kind of magnet, and I almost just kind of swirl it in a circle, like spiral around my nail, just to give it kind of like a weird little wavy effect. And you'll see it a little bit better, I think, here on the thumb. So I just kind of spiral it around, and it almost gives like a little like trippy effect. So I do that on both my ring and my thumb, and then for my other fingers, I'm going in with that Tortoise Jelly shade, and I am doing one coat first on all of these fingers, and I am going to cure this fully. I do feel like having just that background and that base layer is really helpful for this design, because I am going to cure the design right into the second layer. So you want to go ahead and apply your first layer, really get the color wherever you want it, and kind of perfect that, and then we'll go in with the actual design piece in a second. Now I'm going in with some of the V Beauty Pure, sorry, tongue twister, gel colors. I'm using their shader black, and I did pick up their regular black, but I don't feel like I needed that for this design, because the shader black was actually the level of intensity that I wanted. It almost kind of comes out like a jelly black shade, so if you have like a jelly black, that could work as well too. So I go in with a second layer of that Tortoise shade, and I just take a small detail brush, and I just kind of create like little spots and weird waves in it. At first it kind of just looked like a Dalmatian or a cow print, so I did kind of try to go back over those spots, connect a couple of them, really make it almost look like clouds and like smokiness, and I felt like that gave me the effect that I wanted a lot better. You can also do this effect if you don't want to do it straight into the Tortoise gel polish color. You can use it with blooming gel. I felt like that was just going to add more thickness than I wanted, so that's why I did it straight into the brown jelly, but that is up to you. You can do it with whatever products that you have and prefer. I will say too, these new not polished brushes I've really been enjoying. I've noticed a lot of companies, Kiara Sky, Chon Legend, not polished, they've been switching over to these more rounded brushes, and I feel like they're just more intuitive for when you are getting close to the cuticle area, and they're just a lot softer, I feel. So I really like the new bottle designs that I'm seeing a lot of companies come out with. But yeah, so I'm going in and doing that Tortoise design, like I said, on my pinky, my index, and my middle finger, and then I'm taking a white gel paint. I actually don't remember which one this is. I want to say it's the V Beauty Pure one, and I'm just going in and kind of creating a couple almost like Frenchie design on my pointer, and then an actual Frenchie on my pinky. I did struggle a bit with this, so sorry, you are going to see me kind of move my hand a lot. For some reason, these more simple, I think simple as in there's not a lot of like intricate line work, it's really just like a color blocking method almost, I feel like they're more difficult because getting those really crisp shapes and lines, especially when you're trying to do like a curved design, like how this is kind of like an oval, is a lot more difficult than it looks. So I definitely struggled a bit. If you are struggling, just be mindful you do have to typically do at least 2 layers depending on what gel you're using. So you can always go back in with the second layer as you see me doing here and really fix up that shape and get it where you want it to be. So I don't think it's something that you have to get perfect on the first try. The other thing is, especially if you're doing something like this where you are coloring in the design that you're creating, you don't have to get that super perfect either, because it will look more opaque and more even when you go in with the second layer. So just bear with it. It's more of like a trust the process type of thing than just going in and getting it right and perfect the first time. But I do go in and I just make sure that that's as smooth as I can get it. I cure fully in between each layer, and then I'm going in and doing a Frenchie on my pinky. I am doing kind of an old school Frenchie, which in my opinion is just not as deep of a Frenchie. It almost is a little flatter. I really like the way that this looked on the duck nail design. Again, it was like a very nostalgic shape and design overall, so I really liked it. And I will say these kind of more flat Frenchies are a lot easier to do than trying to get like a deep French, because you just kind of almost let the brush do the work instead of having to try to get everything like super even and symmetrical. At least for me, it was a lot easier to do. Now I'm going in, after I've cured both of those layers, I'm going in with my Makartt Rhinestone gel, and I'm gonna apply a charm to my pinky and to my pointer finger. These are just little like star gold charms that I got from Amazon. Anyone will work. You just want to apply a little bit, go ahead and cure the charm in your light so that it stays in place. And then once I'm done with that, I do go in and top coat all of these nails with my Kiara Sky gel top coat. So I am applying that over top of the entire nail as well as over top of that charm. A lot of the gold charms that I see, they do end up kind of tarnishing or changing color over time as you like wash your hands and do things throughout your days. So I feel like when you top coat over them, it does help prevent that and keep them the color that they are meant to be throughout the time of you wearing the nails. So that's just a little tip, and these charms especially are really small, so you don't really notice any excess bulk or just weird bubbling from applying the top coat over top. So yeah, that is pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed this nail look. Again, it was so fun for me to do. The ducky shape is just so fun. I never got it back in the 2000s because I really wasn't getting my nails done back then, but it's really fun for me to try out, and it just did give me nostalgia, especially going through and doing the design work, because I feel like that was the things that I used to get even on the shapes that I was getting, which was more of like a coffin or a square. But yeah, let me know what else you'd like to see from me. Thumbs this video up, subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more, and comment down below letting me know what you guys thought. Other than that, I hope you guys have a wonderful day wherever you are, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye everybody.